Up, Dylan.
How are you today?
Doing good. Doing good.
Waiting on the Johns.
Yep, yep, yep. How was your yesterday there, Dylan?
It was pretty good. All I did was kind of sit around. I didn't do much.
Oh, fair enough.
That works.
If all the craziness wasn't happening, I would have been with my family and we would have been doing Halloween at the church. They do
Mm.
a big get together with a whole bunch of people and they have prizes and little events that kids can do.
We had more trick or treaters than I thought we would.
That's
Really?
true. Yeah. That's kind of a big surprise.
Yeah.
I guess people were more willing to kick out the kids than we thought.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely less than last year's, but it was still not as much as I thought. We didn't get rid of all the red candy.
Wow, I'm surprised.
All right.
The little goblins sure like their candy.
Dylan, since you were here first, I will let you choose your skeleton first. You have 9 to choose from: Crawler, Big Head, Horror, Outsider, Arrow Shield, Headless, Tattered Cloak, Rusted Shirt, or Silver Torque.
Hmm. I think I'm gonna go horror.
All right. I'm going to message you your character sheet.
Oh, yay.
Okay, you should get that shortly. Jeremy, since you were second, you can pick your skeleton next.
Repeat them real quick since John just came in. What's up, John?
It's also an important stuff, but
What's
it's
up, man?
hey. You have Crawler, Big Head, Outsider, Arrow Shield, Headless, Tattered Cloak, Rusted Shirt, or Silver Torque to choose from.
Hmm. Let's go with headless.
Okay, and do you want me to message you yours or just print it out to the printer?
I just message it.
Okay.
Be just as easy.
Let's. You said headless?
Yeah, headless.
All right, you should get that shortly. John, please pick your skeleton. Your choices are Crawler, Big Head, Outsider, Arrow Shield, Tattered Cloak, Rusted Shirt, or Silver Torque.
Big hit.
You want Big Head? All right.
That was my second choice, actually. I was either big head or no head.
Go big or go home. And then do we know if Tomko's joining us?
I haven't heard from him.
It looks like he's online.
Yeah. I'll give him a few minutes. Maybe he's probably getting something ready or.
Messaging him. In group chat. Y'all are welcome to look at your character sheets. I think I sent everybody theirs. John, did you get yours? Okay, yeah, I did send it to you. Okay. And there are some questions on there you do not know the answers to yet.
Oh. I was wondering if we were gonna fill them out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so Tom Cohn will not be joining us. Okay.
Oh man.
So, you know nothing. You remember nothing. So each character is a cipher, and over time, we will learn more. Now we're going to draw the tomb. In the center, there is...
I'm still reading my character sheet.
No worries. I'm just kind of describing it.
Reader.
Just kind of describing it. In the center, there's a sarcophagus. And then some of you may have direction on your character sheet to describe a wall or an area of the tomb.
Let me think about that.
Take your time. We have plenty of time.
I guess I'll go first. They're blood red brambles growing out from the wall.
Ooh, which wall?
In turn. Let's say the wall on our right.
Okay, so the eastern wall.
Sounds good to me.
I am no artist, so do not expect beautiful brambles there.
Or are you watching the live thing?
Yep, I'm drawing in it.
Awesome. Okay.
It's not pretty though. So that's the eastern wall. Does anybody else have anything on the eastern wall?
It says under observations, here are some things one might see in the tomb.
Okay, so what do you see in the tomb?
Whoa, a lot of stuff.
What kind of stuff?
A dome,
Okay.
pillars.
About how many pillars? 4 or more?
Let's go with 4. Yeah.
Alright. I don't know how to put the dome on here, so this is a top-down view. I'm just gonna type it in.
You might have to type some of this in. It's kind of a list of stuff.
There you go, dome.
Vaults.
Vaults. Is this something that you're making up, or just a list of examples?
No, like it says under my observations. It says
Okay, let me
here
take a
are
look.
some things that one might see in the tomb. Check
Yeah,
out my
one
character sheet
might
really quick.
see in the tomb. So what do you see in the tomb?
So I get to pick some of the things.
Yeah, you get to design this. You all get to design this.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, why are there so many things on my list?
That's what I was getting. I was like, why does he have so many things? Okay, so we have a dome, we have pillars, we've got the sarcophagus. On the eastern wall, we got some blood red brambles. John, tell me about the northern wall.
Probably a pile of scrolls and some leather bound manuscripts and stuff.
Some scrolls and leather-bound manuscripts. Okay.
Piles of them. It's just a bunch all over the
Piles
place.
of them. Okay. Oops. Make a pencil. Just. Why are you not drawing? My thing is not drawing for some reason. Know what I want. There we go. These are beautiful piles. Okay. Jeremy, a little bit on the western wall. What's going on over there?
I see some magical wards.
Ooh, okay. Oops.
That's WARDS.
Not warts.
Yeah, or WORDS. I don't know.
Change, damn you. Oh, there we go. I don't know where I was going with that. There you go, some magical words. Dylan, what about the southern wall?
It is covered in bones littering
Bones.
the floor.
Gross.
Seems like they're emerging from the wall.
Ooh, kind of like an ossuary.
Mm-hmm.
That's my depictions of bones. It's very accurate.
Very nice.
And what side is the entrance on, everybody?
Maybe it's above
Um,
us.
Like they have to come in through the top. It's kind of sunk underground a little bit.
It's on the
Maybe.
second floor.
There's now a second floor. I have to remember how to do shapes on this thing. It's been so long since I've actually used GIMP. Okay. So do they rappel down from the top, or is there a door, or how does that work?
Um, there's a door between the magical wards. kinda
Okay.
what seals it shut. You have to know the magical password to get through or whatever.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys. As we go through this game, of course, you've kind of caught on that we'll all be kind of working together here. So what we're gonna do is, normally this is a game you play in person, but instead, what I'm gonna ask you to do. Normally, we would turn off the lights. I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes for moments at a time, and you will know when to open your eyes. So go ahead and close your eyes. Oh, hold on. Before that, where are y'all standing?
I'm standing close to the bones and the
Okay.
brambles.
Big
Kind of
kid's in the middle of the room.
All right. Thank you. Big head's gonna be blue. Kind of in front of the sarcophagus there.
Yeah.
And how about headless?
Um, Pacing on the middle north part of the room.
Well, you'll be still at this point.
Okay. Well, then I'll be still.
So here, good. Kind of between some piles of scrolls.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians. An amateur tomb robber is breaking into the tomb. Dylan, describe this person.
He's very short. He looks kind of in between a dwarf and a gnome.
All right. And does he look well prepared, or is he dressed in rags?
He looks somewhat prepared, but for some reason he's not wearing shoes.
No shoes. All right. You come to life out of your alcoves. You've been sitting in the quiet, in the dark. Years have flown by like dead leaves. Everything has been darkness. Everything has been silence. You stand vigilant before the sarcophagus without thought or breath. Such is your compulsion. You do not remember your name, and still you watch. You do not. The flesh has fallen off your bones, and still you watch. One day there's light and motion. You weigh your bearded axe, raise your shield, lusting for the fray, eager to measure your skill against these tomb-robbing children so full of blood. You'll never be alive again, but in this moment, in the chaos between violation and destruction, you truly live, and you remember what you once were, and you taste the sun. How do you fight off this tomb robber?
I go stabby stabby with my spear-like hands.
Cool. All right. Horror rushes up and begins stabbing at this young person, this short person. Big head, headless, what are you doing?
Using my giant skull as a bludgeoning weapon and just headbutting everything.
And y'all can communicate telepathically?
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say there might not be any way for me to otherwise do that. But I'm definitely going for the grapple.
All right. So Headless sneaks his way up behind and latches all four of his limbs to this young adventurer while horror stabs in and Big Head brings his big head down and with a sickening squish, the tomb robber is slain. You may all answer one question on your sheet. Big Head and Horror, you may answer 2.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to think about this.
And you can say these out loud. Or I should say, please say these out loud. What your question is and what your answer is.
My question is, what is my name?
And you do not have to do these in order. You can do these in any order. So what is your name, Horror? What's your real name?
My real name is Jacob Wraith.
Jacob Wraith. Anything else about yourself you remember?
I think I was maybe some type of healer?
A healer.
Or maybe murderer. I'm not sure. It's a fuzzy line.
You definitely healed or killed somebody. You're not sure.
Yep.
Okay. What about Big Head? Big Head, what do you remember?
Who here most fears you among the skeletons? I'm going to say it's Headless.
Intimidated by that big head. Headless, you're afraid of Big Head.
For a good reason.
It's most feared you in life. Sorry.
Ah.
Okay.
Less intimidated in death?
Possibly. I don't know. It just says who here among the skeletons most feared you in life, and I'm saying it's Headless.
Alright.
Nice.
Headless, how do you feel about
Well, remembering now that I am quite scared of Big Head for his big head.
that?
Oh, here's one. Who claimed your head and why? And I look over to Big Head. And that's probably why I was scared. Because he had my head.
Why did he take it?
I don't know. Jealous? I assume.
Big Head,
Is
why
your
did you take
skull-
Headless's head?
And my second question I'm going to answer is who was the reluctant object of your undying devotion or unwavering devotion? And I'm also going to say it's Headless.
He took the head because he was a stalker. Got it.
Okay. That's fair. I didn't really ask for my head to be taken, but yeah.
You
So
didn't
those are
have
the
to.
two that I picked. Who was the reluctant object of your unwavering devotion? Headless, and who among the skeletons most feared you in life? Headless.
Nice.
Perfect.
Love
All right.
Love it.
Somebody choose Glory Fades or God's Laugh.
God's
Glory
laugh.
fades?
All right. Dylan, you're the deciding vote.
How about some laughs?
All right. One of the skeleton's appearance is altered in some way. Perhaps they're marked by fire or magic. Who is altered and how?
Headless. They have a head of flame now, so you can almost see a face in it.
Ooh.
Oh, headless. You got this flamey laugh now.
Nice.
How did that
Makes me
happen?
feel a little better. You're asking me how it happened?
Anybody? How did that happen?
Well, you see, what happened was Horror was doing an experiment and swapping heads on people. And he took my head off and he put it on Big Head's. And then he saw what he had done and was like, he needs like something on his shoulders. And like just kind of gave me a flaming head.
Interesting.
I'm a cleric.
It's a sacred
Yeah,
flame.
yeah. So just kind of naturally he was like, I should probably do something for this guy because I feel a little bad for purposefully swapping their heads.
And that will lead into my second question. Who here among the skeletons once treated you with kindness?
Ooh.
And it was Headless.
Headless, you're a popular fellow.
I think they're just like picking on me. Like, this guy doesn't have a head. Obviously, there's a story to this.
So kind of describe what y'all look like to each other.
My skull has a very long beak, and my body looks more like a bird, except for, you know how a bird's wings fold behind him? Mine are just long, curved claws.
Mm. Well, we know Headless has a fiery head. Is there any other defining characteristics of Headless?
Yeah, totally, totally. I would look like a Ghost Rider, right? If Ghost Rider was a hobo and had to get all of his clothes from like a flea market, and obviously he's been beat up quite a bit, so he has kind of a limp. Headless does have a limp,
Ah, interesting.
and what could have been a very nice leather jacket is mostly just tatters, and that's about it. It's just kind of the jacket, no pants. I don't know where the pants are.
So the limp's really prominent. Okay. And other than Big Head's big head, any other defining characteristics?
Yeah, he's got a tarnished silver band around his bulbous head, and around his neck is a old amulet of forgotten meaning.
Interesting. All right, you return to your positions, and you begin to become still. Close your eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians! A month has passed since last you moved. A spirit of this place, disturbed by the newly built tomb, has invaded. How do you drive away such ancient and immaterial presence?
I open my mouth and I caw. And it's a very deep, long winded caw.
Horror
I'm sorry, and
opens
what's
its
it
beak.
trying to drive off?
An ancient spirit of the place that was disturbed by this tomb.
I'm gonna pick up a bunch of scrolls off the ground
Okay.
and punch through Headless's fire head and wave the flame around.
Hmm. The spirit seems unperturbed by either Horror's call or Big Head's fiery scrolls.
Um, let's see. I would like to start chasing this spirit away, trying to make my flame grow brighter that sits on top of my head.
So you just try to run up on it, or
Yeah, like trying to go for the intimidation.
it does not seem perturbed.
Uh, you shoved a scroll through my face, correct, Big Head?
Yeah, to light them on fire and basically turn my hand into a torch.
Was that a magic scroll?
Maybe at one point, but all these scrolls and manuscripts are so old that who knows?
Um, DM, could I see if I could activate this scroll? Like,
Absolutely. What does the scroll look like? Can you read it?
that. I mean, he kind of put it in flames, so.
Well,
But then
that
it's
one you
magical
can't read.
flame.
But
Yeah.
remember, I
Oh
said
yeah.
there's piles and piles of them everywhere.
He did say that.
That's true. Yeah. I'll definitely go through the. Kind of want to go run for the pile real quick and see if I can find a magical scroll.
Okay. Do you find one?
Absolutely.
What does it do?
I'm headless. It turns my enemies into chickens.
Will that work on an undead specter?
It'll turn him into an undead chicken.
All right. You have an undead
See.
chicken.
I was gonna say, seeing Headless try to use magic, Big Head remembers now that there were wards, and he just walks over and touches one of the wards, and it ejects all spirits from the tomb.
So for a brief moment, there's a headless, or not a headless, an undead spiritual chicken before you hear a "Paka!" and it's shot out of the tomb. An explosion of spectral feathers. You may choose to answer a question if you wish.
Second. I'm just gonna post some, I guess, important stuffs. Just kind of how I assume. Right, kind of homelessy looking.
Homeless Ghost Rider,
Bit
you got
tattered.
it.
Yeah, homeless Ghost Rider. Kind of forgot the collar, but it's fine.
Does anybody want to answer a question?
Um, I have one I'd like to answer.
Okay.
What connection do you have to those you've just killed or driven away? What memory did they
Ooh.
invoke?
All right.
The connection I have is it felt it didn't feel good to drive the spirit away. But poking the living thing, now that was fun. That felt like I was alive.
Ooh,
And it
interesting.
reminded me of, was it a surgery or was I just stabbing someone? Eh, it's too fuzzy.
How were you connected to the spirit that got driven away?
It felt more of longing, like being able to go somewhere else past what I am.
Mm. Anybody else?
Um, I would also like to answer the same question.
Ooh,
What connection did I have to the person we just drove away?
yeah.
I owed them money.
The ghost or the person?
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons they came out and tried to get their money back.
I see. You owe me 20 chakras.
Yeah, y'all guys would get like a weird, very quick, telepathic feeling, or maybe just a few quick like, oh shit, that's the guy I owed money. Uh-oh. Oops. Okay. And just headless just would just kind of mumble to himself like, oh, well, thanks guys. Oh, yeah. All right, I feel bad.
So I was actually going to answer the same question before even before Dylan. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this one. But so um, the connection is ex-lover,
Wow.
and
Oh.
the memory that it invokes is a name, Isris.
Oh, what is that? So, Headless, you owed one of Big Head's ex lovers some money? Or how did that work?
Oh, hold on. Say that again. Just say that again real quick. One of Big Head's ex-lovers' money.
Well, Big Head evoked a memory of a ex lover. And that same thing was somebody you owed money to, or what? How did that work?
Uh, Probably just some hooker I owed money to or something. Or a
Wow.
drug dealer. One of the two. I don't know. Could have been
Wow.
I don't know. You know, it could have been anything.
Wow, dude.
Maybe that's
It
how
was
he
most like
died.
it most likely was.
All right, close your eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians. A decade has passed. A skeleton has lost some of his bones permanently. What body part is missing? And who is it?
Horror's rib cage is all shattered and spiky. It
You
looks
know,
like
it's funny because I was thinking ribcage also. I just wasn't sure who.
Nice.
someone caved his chest in, and all that's left is splinters.
Some giant tomb spiders have begun making their nest in the tomb. Intelligent and graceful, they are stubborn, clever, and hard to dislodge. Do you destroy them, or do you reach an understanding? How?
They could let us sleep longer.
I'm sorry. What are these?
Giant tomb spiders.
They could help us defend the tomb if we reason with them, y'all
Uh,
think.
Big Kid learns how to ride one, and he uses it as a mount.
All right, how do you do that?
He finds like old rotten meat from other intruders, and he uses
That
it as
first one
food
that
to
came in.
treat the spider. Yeah.
All right, the spider clacks its mandibles as it approaches you, and then what do you do?
Uh, Start petting it and like just reassuring it that I am friendly.
You give it the good chin scritches, and it's like,
I show it that I have no meat, so it doesn't need me, but I can help. I'm trying to teach it that I can help it get more of this.
it's down for that, it's down for that. It'll stop desecrating the tomb. But there are others. Headless, horror. You see this happen, what do you do?
Horror looks on interested. What? What are these? He goes over to investigate, poking at them a little bit. And then he just turns around, starts making a spot for them. Getting something ready for a spider nest. Or maybe it's a trap using the wards. He's not 100% sure. He feels pulled by something else.
What are you using to make this nest? Or trap?
I'm using the bleeding brambles. Some of the bones in the north wall.
You snap a few of them out of the masonry, and you grab some of the brambles. Although you feel compelled to protect the tomb, the magic stops you before the bones snap all the way.
I'm going to start cultivating the brambles to make them grow in a certain area.
Ah, there we go.
Breaking.
And what about you, Headless? One of the spiders is menacingly walking its 8 legs towards you.
Uh, I would like to slowly kind of back up towards the north wall and find a scroll of speak with tomb spiders.
All right. Do you find that?
Absolutely. and I try and cast it on that spider that's approaching me.
How does that work out for you?
Um, it it's a little funny because funny you should ask because in order to cast this spell, I have to do a funny dance, like with my arms over my head like a monkey, and then I kind of have to like crawl around really fast like a spider,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to throw out some kung fu moves. But after a little while, I'm able to speak with these tomb spiders
And then what?
and
What do they
maybe
say to
try and
you?
reason with them. Um,
Food?
they
Food?
would convey. Wait, you say food?
Food? Nest?
Ah,
Threat?
uh, no, not threat, not threat. We are friends.
Spider.
Yeah. And I point at the spider and I'm like, spider? And I point at me and skeletal protector of the tomb. And I point at my friends and I'm like, friends,
Not spider?
not spider. Friends.
Threat?
Not not threat. Oh, you know what? Let me go through my scrolls here. Here's one. Here, summon swarm of flies. Um, mind you, it's been a while, and not every scroll is gonna work perfect. And like
Ah.
two measly flies just kind of pop out. Just, bzzz. Just oh, well, I thought that would be more effective after I don't know 10,000 years or so.
Snack. Light snack.
Light snack. Yes, yes. I have more of those somewhere. Somewhere of those. Hold on.
Food?
Just let me. Yeah, yeah. Food. Yeah, some of those. And I will try and like summon more stuff. Like at this point, I'm just starting to panic because the spider seems interested in maybe becoming friends, but like also it's asking a lot of questions, and I have some anxiety issues.
All right.
Uh, yeah, so I'm just kind of like summon, and then it's like table with like some food on it, but it's like human food, right? So it's like well, that's probably not what the spider would want. That's not even what I want. Uh, now I'll reach over and like try and summon another one, and it's like a big 10-gallon bowl of water. Eh? Water? Alright.
The
And I'm
spider
trying to see
goes
if
and
the spider's
takes
interested.
two of its little front legs and it dips it in the water and it starts rubbing it over its head.
Okay, okay.
Looks like
Yeah,
it's bathing.
keep doing that. Okay.
All right. So, with Big Head riding one of these, like, big old kernel here, and Horror making a nest out of these blood red brambles, and Headless going, yeah, I'm gonna make you some food. Yeah, you don't want that. How about that? How about that? You do eventually get the tomb spiders over onto your side, and they will make some nests and some webs, and you can return to your duty. But before that, you may answer a question.
And that's for horror to answer.
Anybody. Anybody can answer a question about themselves or another skeleton.
I'll let someone else answer a question.
Um. just-
It says, "What by name did you earn in life for your greatest accomplishment?" And it's tamer.
Oh, there you go. Headless, did you want to answer a question this round?
Yeah, but the anxiety's kicking. See, I'm starting to remember some names. Um, and it's like two names. I don't know why, but it's definitely let's go into this thing. Asmes and Thabit.
And do these names have any meaning to you?
Uh, I I think they were my students.
Hmm.
I think they were students of mine. And that's all I can really remember is Asmes and Thabit were students.
Big Head, what do you remember about being a tamer?
Uh, rem- he remembers having to deal with exotic creatures.
Hmm. Any one stand out to you in particular?
There was an old ornery tiger that nobody else seemed to be able to deal with, but Big Head was always able to bring him down and give his food and stuff to him.
Did this tiger have a name? 3 minutes.
The name Mati comes to mind.
All right. With your newfound friends, you return to your alcoves or your stations. Close your eyes.
After 100 years,
Yeah, it's gonna be like 4 generations of spiders.
yeah, but after a few years, you hear snoring coming from my alcove. Seems supernatural.
Which is great because you don't have lungs, so you're like, how is that happening?
I don't know. Magic?
You would know all about that, wouldn't you, Headless?
Yeah, totally.
Arise and protect the tombs, skeletal guardians.
What?
Centuries have
What?
passed. A pair of professional tomb robbers have broken into the inner sanctum. Describe them. Illustrate how they work as a team. What object immediately attracts their attention? Can they fight?
I think. Do I sense? No, I see three individuals. No, is it? Is it three? Is it four? I'm not sure. But these look like they have armor. Is that a weapon of some type?
It's absolutely three, and there's one that's larger than the rest of them, with bigger, heavier armor, and you can tell that he kind of leads them. And the other two, one, he's wearing armor, but definitely clad in more cloth, and he carries a staff, while the other third is small, and he's trying to hide behind the other two with a couple of daggers. It looks like.
What is their attention drawn towards?
The millions and millions and millions of spiders.
Yes, there are millions of spiders in here, aren't there? Not as big as the ones you had first tamed. Their family's definitely grown, but to adjust to the space, they've become smaller.
Also stunted from lack of food.
Or sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Pale albino spiders.
They now
Headless does not
sense
look worried at
things
all.
by
So,
tremors.
so they're definitely normal size spiders now, but there's millions of them in here.
Yeah, and the
They're
cobwebs are
very
just
venomous.
covering everything. So it's like this thick sheet. And every time you look at a portion, just tons of little squirmy parts from the spiders crawling across it.
Did you describe the sarcophagus to us, or did you just say it's a sarcophagus?
There's a sarcophagus, but you get to describe it if you'd like.
Okay. Well, what they're drawn to is through all the cobwebs, there's a little bit of a shine, and there's a giant ruby on the sarcophagus.
Hmm. How do y'all handle these intruders?
Well, Headless just really quick stands up and he looks buff, right?
Been drinking his milk.
He looks jacked. Yeah, like underneath his jacket. But like as he kind of shakes a little bit, just spiders keep falling and falling and falling from his jacket. And he slowly starts to shrink again.
Back to his skeletal shape.
Yeah, pretty much.
The years have not been kind to Horror. His bones seem to have been wrapped and grown with bramble, and now he is blood red, and the jewels that adorn his skull are very bright and glow. He
Mm.
slowly approaches these invaders.
The one carrying a staff holds it out in front of him like a weapon and begins to chant in some language you've never heard.
Big Head's going to use himself as a battering ram and just headbutt him right in the gut.
He smacks you to the side. The bigger guy has imposed himself between you and the older man. How do you handle that?
I'm going to use some broken or loose bramble and try to jump him from behind and just wrap it around his neck.
You've forgotten about the smaller guys. A dagger comes up between your ribs, and the bigger guy is able to use your momentary distraction to grab you by your big head, fitting in the palm of his hand like a toy, like a ball. And he throws you to the side.
And that is when horror reaches him, and from his back is pierced with two long, bramble covered blades of bone.
You get in through the bigger guy's armor. And at that time, the one with the staff lights you on fire, or the brambles burning away. But not completely, as they're almost sickly and wet, still growing on you. Big head, you get your big head back up and
Hiss.
Now, Big Head's still laying there. He's playing dead for a second, and he looks at a bunch of the spiders and he whispers, "Matisse, attack them, get them, please."
millions of spiders begin to drop out of the webs. And at first, they're just grossed out. But every time they swipe a swathe of spiders away, more appear, and panic begins to show in their faces. If you had ears, you would hear their screams. Headless, what are you doing?
Um, I'm searching through my scrolls really fast, looking for something funny to make this entertaining, as I'm fairly certain that the spiders have this pretty well taken care of at this point.
As
I'm
you
just
think that, you see both the bigger man and the older person with the staff are being consumed by thousands of spider bites, but you don't see the smaller creature.
so I finally kind of get to the scroll that I was more or less looking for, and it's a scroll called Gigantify,
It is
right?
snatched out of your hands as you're beginning to read it. You see the smaller person again, a dagger held out for him, your scroll dangling from his other hand. Where his eye once was, spiders crawl, and he grimaces and begins to run out of the tomb.
Damn, he stole my scroll. Oh well. I'm sure I've got something of equal or greater value somewhere around here.
I might remind you, you are compelled to protect the tomb and its contents.
Correct. Um, I would like to start dusting off the old sarcophagus.
Okay.
Just kind of cleaning it up and getting it nice and shiny again. Maybe using my jacket to wipe off the giant gemstone that's just chilling there. You know, I forgot what it was. Was it a ruby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna clean off the ruby and just kind of shine it up a little bit. Make sure
Okay.
there's not too many cobwebs.
I believe it was said that the wards have to be pressed in a certain order to release the door.
Was it? That seems like what the tomb robber is trying to do.
And as Big Head sees that, he picks up headless and starts swinging them like a weapon at the small one.
All right. How does this happen? What happens?
There, there's one last cobweb, right? Headless is like perfect, and right when he reaches for it, he kind of loses balance, and his foot kind of picks up in the air, and that's the first limb that Big Head grabs is his foot,
Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you're swinging away from the tomb.
clearing
And
all
Big Head
kinds
is
of cobwebs.
and Big Head is just swinging the flame right in the face of the intruder.
Headless, you see this? What is the intruder's reaction?
Um, it's fear of trying to get out, followed by absolute panic, followed by just more fear because like okay, so walks in skeletons. Okay, well that's pretty scary. And then spiders like, "Oh no, my friends are dying." Followed by this skeleton is actually swinging a flaming skeleton at me, and this is how I die now.
And that's
Just
how
kind
he
of the last
dies.
moments of life are in his eyes as I boop him on the head.
All right. Uh all right. So, yeah, he's destroyed by this flaming skull skeleton or lack of skull, I should say. Um but something you're protecting is lost, either simply missing or stolen. What was it?
During the kerfuffle, the bramble heart, which is the source of the bramble, is what's lost. It's burned.
Ah, seems like it had tried to grow into horror and it was burned when he was. Alright. You can each answer a question. Uh, you can answer two if you like.
One sec. I'll be right back.
Okay, we can take a break here too if you'd like.
Okay.
I'm good with whatever.
Same.
Okay, well, let's take just a quick couple minute break and we'll come right back.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Jeremy, you here? Jeremy. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
So I only have two questions left. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. What trophies have you collected from the intruders? And I'm going to say among the weapons of the intruders that just came in, there was a whip.
Mm.
And so Big Head picks this whip up. And upon this, a name comes to mind, Asrif, or Arsif. Hold on, let me look. Arif. Arif. This name Arif. And it feels familiar. And that answers my next question. What is your name? And he remembers that he is Arif.
Ooh.
Nice. Um, so remembering my name just kind of from out of the blue, having never really thought about what my name would have been, but just now thinking about it, I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. I think people called me Jason Morningstar.
Okay.
I'll see if anybody catches that.
Oh, I mean, I know it's made by Jason Morningstar. I'm just using my list of names that I remember.
Gotcha.
So, ha,
Yeah, in my face. Well, my lack of
ha, ha,
face.
you're non-phased in your.
Or do you remember anything this round?
My question is who or what brought you into the world?
Mm.
So who brought me back into this tomb?
Or who created you?
Well, or created me. What brought me back was a very powerful, evil deity. Something
Mm.
that is beyond all imagination.
And why did they
And
bring
did
you
this
back?
as a cruel joke.
Ooh, against whom?
Cruel joke. Against me, the world, who knows? It's just something that may be better left to mysteries of time.
All right.
I'm just jealous that my name's not Jason Morningstar.
I just saw it. I was like, oh, I have to now. In fact, that brings me to my next question that I have to answer.
Oh yeah.
And um, What by name did you earn in your life that describes your greatest accomplishment?
Yeah,
And Jason Morningstar was a storyteller.
I see.
He used magic to help, like with his props and stuff like that. That's why he doesn't really have anything that's um how would you say, like dark magic. He doesn't have anything that's overpowered and conjuring, just anything evil. He has tricks, and he has little things and quips and objects that he can summon using scrolls. That's how he was telling stories.
Very nice.
A memory that a skeleton had previously regained is false, and the truth asserts itself. Which memory and what truth?
For just one of us, or
Whichever.
um, the Spectre. The Spectre wasn't actually an ex-lover. It was a loan shark, and
Ah,
and Jason and Aerith were part of a troupe together that owed this loan shark money.
interesting.
I feel a little better about that.
Y'all were in cahoots.
If they were, how did you get in the same tomb with them?
A cruel joke.
All right, close your eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians! An army of plunderers has broken in. Dozens of bandits with shovels, picks, and axes. Describe them, illustrating how they barely work together, obsessed with greed. What catches their chief's eye? Do they bring magic or science to aid them? Will they overwhelm you, laughing with delight?
Absolutely science. At this point, We don't even recognize them as people. What are they wielding? What are they wearing?
No clue. They are wearing some type of metal. It's not like the metal of old.
This is a sleek and shiny metal, not the coarse,
Yeah.
rough, beaten bronze you're used to.
This is much newer than us. Um, what catches their eye first is the gems embedded in my skull.
Ooh.
Bright and glistening, they shine from the dim dark of this tomb. They would alert anybody to the presence of wealth within.
And what catches your eyes, skeletons, is that the great sarcophagus has split open, spilling out its contents. What was within?
Magical powers that seep from it and into us.
Mm.
Also, a single piece of cornbread.
Calcified by age.
Calcified by age.
The gems glow almost as if they are fire or are ice.
Ooh. How do you attempt to drive off the bandits?
Hold on. Where are the spiders at this point?
They're
They're,
dead.
yeah, they pretty much cannibalized each other.
It's weird.
At first, I tried cracking my whip at one of them.
It catches on his pick and you jerk it out of his hands, but he pulls a small axe from his belt and advances on you, teeth snarled and and just gaps between them as he advances on you.
I very quickly run to my stash, where I just honestly should just sleep, of scrolls. And I pick up the first scroll that I find, hoping that it's something like acid rain. Acid rain. Oh my god, please. Please be acid rain. That would, oh my god, yes. Instead, I pick up a scroll of raining ducks, and a giant cloud kind of opens up from above, and all these tiny little rubber ducks just start falling from the ceiling, filling up the room.
Okay.
Um, for horror, he walks forward, and the brambles of old are now anew. These ones no longer bleed, they drip black ooze, and he flings it at the intruders.
Gross. You take a few of them down, but there are
Undead
so many.
brambles. Sorry, I was just thinking.
No, that's great. So
Cause
these Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say because I had said they died, so, and he's black ooze, so it's just like undead bramble. Oh, I love it. It's gross.
It's perfect. So you fling some of these, but still there are more of these bandits pouring in.
It was a nice run, guys.
I mean, we tried. We really did.
We shall seal this forever. And I start chanting.
What do you
As he
chant?
chants, the amulet around my neck starts to glow.
Ooh.
And I pick up
Huh?
a huge double arm scoop of scrolls, and I start to chant as well. Just whatever scrolls I have in my arms are about to go off.
The eldritch energy spilling out of the tomb infuses you, and you feel stronger and renewed. And you see, one by one, these bandits. Quack! One turned into a rubber duck for some reason. Explosions of blood and gore and bones occur around this tomb. The wall,
Heads, keep going, keep going.
the wall behind horror begins to suck up some of these bones, and you see new bones in the masonry. Headless,
Morbid.
what's one of the new scrolls you're reading?
Um, it's actually just, let's see, one of the new spells that I'm reading is it's called Plain Flood, and it's actually really just supposed to be some water to water like crops and stuff like that. But given the tomb is not huge, it's actually a lot of water, and it is just coming down and helping push these small ducks and uh helping push these small rubber ducks and people in a direction that is outward.
All right.
And when the chanting of horror ends, a wall slowly erupts from the floor, filling the entryway and sealing this place forever.
All right. As you do that, the bandits are defeated. If you have any questions left, you can answer one or two or no questions as you prefer.
Um, what by name did I earn in life that describes the fear your existence evokes?
Interesting.
My name that I earned in a previous life is murderer.
Ah, so you were a murderer.
So I finally remember. But it wasn't a true murder. It was to protect the ones I love. It
Ah,
ended up being much different than it was supposed to be, and it was a great failure of mine.
who was the person you murdered?
It was a robber that at the time was also my patient. See, I wasn't an ordinary murderer. I was a doctor.
Hmm.
It just so happens that this robber stole a machine that would have saved my family's life.
And how did you murder him? Or her?
Uh, I I took two knives and stabbed between his collarbone,
Ah,
ending his life.
anybody else on the memories front?
Um, what thing in this place did you lovingly craft with your own hands?
Oh, what did you craft with your own hands?
And that was I had help, but it was from my two students, uh, Asmes and Thabit, and
Mm-hmm.
we helped create the sarcophagus.
Oh, tell me a little more about that. How did you create it?
Um,
Why did you create it?
well, we were collectors of oddities and special things, trinkets, magical
Mm-hmm.
items, scrolls, whatnot. And what started off as, 5, 10 scrolls and, you know, um, so just some basic know-how kind of turned into a lifelong hobby of getting into a tomb that was untouched
Mm-hmm.
and sharing the knowledge with people that Headless knew, like Big Head, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And Headless had this idea of protecting all of their belongings in one single, like a chest.
Yeah.
And at first it was just going to be a chest, and then it kind of turned into a project, more of a sarcophagus, and then it was just kind of a cool idea since, hey, we're in a tomb, let's make this a full on sarcophagus. And that's just what it turned into.
Cool. All right. Return to your post and close your eyes. Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians. You okay, Jake?
Ugh, ugh.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah. I cast rubber duck. And I grab a scroll and I just kind of like throw it. It turns out to be a toy cat, uh, and it just meow meow meow. Oh, jeez.
The tomb is flooded. What is ruined, mold covered, or decayed after the waters recede?
The bramble.
I was gonna say the wards.
Yes, the wards would definitely be washed away.
All right.
Definitely.
But the wards on the walls have been washed away, but the brambles have not. They look a little bit healthier, but they still ooze black goo.
Let's see. We had brambles on the east wall. What was on the south wall?
Bones.
Those are all bones, right? Sure.
Yep.
Um, I would say with some of the waters, they would have kind of started taking their toll on the sarcophagus, as it would have. You can tell there's definitely some wear and tear on the made sarcophagus.
Okay. What kind of wear and tear?
Um, you can see where the water is actually. It kind of started eating through the metal,
Hmm.
kind of leaving little holes and spots, and definitely some heavy rust.
All right. Um. Also, a crack has developed, creating an opening for robbers and other vermin. Where has it developed?
It cracks across the center of the floor and extends upward towards the ceiling.
Oh, that's not good.
In through the crack, a necromancer and some mercenaries have invaded the tomb. Describe them.
I believe that they're pretty well prepared from what I can see. They got armor, they have many items on them. I, I don't know what those bottles are, but they have quite a few of them.
This necromancer seems a lot more interested in you than in the treasures of the tomb.
The second assistant, like he said, he had two assistants, right?
Some mercenaries.
Okay, two mercenaries. The second mercenary is actually kind of a he's kind of a pack rat, and he has like this huge bag full of all of their stuff, full of the necromancers and the other mercenary stuff. And you could tell
Mm-hmm.
he's just completely out of breath with this whole thing. Like, are we there yet? Trying to use a shovel as a cane. You could tell he's probably done most of the work, if not all of it.
Yeah. And how are they acting? What are they doing?
At the moment, they're being very respectful of everything within the tomb. But as time goes by, you can see hunger and greed appear in the necromancer's eyes.
Though it's definitely not for the tomb's treasures, as he looks you over as y'all stir from your slumber, his eyes alight with greed, and surely he's going to try to want to control you.
Oh, buddy, that's not happening.
The only thing you can hear for the next few seconds is a little cat crawling across the floor. Kind of like a John Wayne movie where the tumbleweed blows by, but it's just a mechanical cat.
And then one of the mercenaries brings his foot down on the toy.
And that is when we go in.
And what do you do?
Claws raised above my head, I swipe at him.
As you bring your claws down on one of the mercenaries, it stops inches from his face, and you cannot bring your hand down any further. It's like a force is pulling you back.
Hmm.
Horror, you begin to turn, and you bring your claws down towards Big Head instead.
I go run over and stop him.
How?
I reach up and I use both arms to stop his claws.
He scratches deep furrows into your bones. Big Head, how do you react to this?
He uses himself as a battering ram again to separate them.
You tear Headless and Horror apart, and then Horror begins awkwardly shuffling forward back towards Headless.
Oh, I run to the side of the room where the door was,
Mm-hmm.
and hmm, I start searching along the floor since it's kind of been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm looking for my spell scroll that I try to summon, 10, 20, 30,000 years ago or so maybe longer.
Millennium ago.
About a millennium or so ago. Has been a while.
And?
And I find one, and I hope that it's Gigantify.
Is it?
It is not.
What is it?
It is Summon Tendrils. And just these two creepy tendrils just pop out of the ground. And they just kind of lazily flop and flip. And that was really supposed to be for like a horror story, but um in this case they are no use.
They just kind of flip against the floor. And you're like, nope, not that one.
Grow. Not that one. And I keep quickly just start searching for more scrolls. Just like, ah! Jeez, this always happens.
Big Head, you feel a force restraining your body. What do you do?
I'm sorry, one more time?
A force. It feels like a force is trying to restrain your body. What do you do?
The uh, silver band around his head starts to glow and he resists it.
Oh, he does. That big head is good for something. You see
Very
the
nice.
mercenaries approaching you and Horror, lifting shiny, sharp blades out of their scabbards. One wields something metal in their hand, pointing like a cylinder at you. Headless, what are you doing?
Okay, so after accidentally setting off about 3 more scrolls, one was a glitter bomb, and it wouldn't hit my face, by the way.
If you had a
I
face.
was like, this one. My eyes! If I had eyes.
So your skeleton is
It's
just
everywhere.
coated in glitter now.
And then I try and do another one, and it's just birds, right? Like a cheap
Caca.
magic trick of some birds, caw caw, and they just fly away and then
Mm-hmm.
disappear.
They go out the crack.
And then I find it after all this time, and I throw it at Big Head, and I tell him to read it.
Big Head, the scroll rolls across the floor at you. And then, Headless, your limbs are hard to move, and you're trying to stand up, but you're more hunched at this point.
Ah, read the scroll.
Horror.
Did you tell me what the scroll was?
Say what?
Did you say what the scroll was?
I did not.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss.
Yeah. Sorry, you said horror. What?
Horror, you're barely able to move your limbs in such a manner as to defend yourself, as first gouge is cut out of your rotten bones. Then another.
Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna activate my jewels that are embedded in my head and resist it.
And what do they do?
They bring they it seems like they pulse, and as they pulse, my bones start to regrow.
Ooh,
They get
gross.
thicker and thicker until all of my bones are 100% back.
Ooh, even your rib cage?
Even my rib cage.
Disgusting.
Oh, why didn't
And
you do that
well,
about 10,000 years ago?
it only works once as that gem shrivels and disintegrates.
That
Gross.
explains it.
Big Head,
And
do you
now,
read the scroll?
I do, and as I read the scroll, a cloud starts to fill the room. A green toxic gas.
The mercenaries in the room begin to grasp at their throats and cough and choke. But the necromancer does not. He begins to grin. You feel, Headless and Horror, the compulsion around you release um, the restraint. But then you see the bodies of the mercenaries who have gone down begin to rise back up.
Uh,
Their faces slack in death.
so I stand straight up and I shake my head, and a bunch of glitter falls off. Ah, this isn't coming off for at least 1,000 years, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Oh, and then I reach down. Hmm, I guess this could be useful. And I pick up another spell scroll, and I point at Big Head, and I just cast Gigantify, and Big Head turns into like this 25-foot tall giant
Skeletal head.
skeleton, skeletal head. It's mostly head at this point, but it's also 25 feet's worth.
Of head on like 2 feet of body. And all right, what do you do with that, big head? As the room
He just
seems to
starts rolling
shrink.
around.
There is a dome up here.
Exactly.
What about you, Horror?
I'm going to take the rejuvenated brambles that are oozing black sludge and fling it at the necromancer. These are no longer the black goo of old.
Oh.
It's acid.
Ooh. It sticks to his robes and burns away some of the cloth, and beneath you see bones. He does not flinch.
Primal screeching.
He seems to flinch a little from that, but he waves his hand and your screeching cuts off. The mercenaries that were once alive begin to swing their shiny swords in your direction again.
Big Head's gonna roll as high up as he can, and then just try to fall down on top of the necromancer.
His head rears back until it hits the ceiling, and then it slams forward, narrowly missing Horror and Headless standing off to the side. And you hear a deafening when he lifts his head as it begins to shrink back down to its normal size. There is merely a paste where the necromancer once stood.
Oh God.
Nice.
If you have any questions left, you may answer them, or you may answer something that's not on your sheet. You may remember something else.
I have answered all questions.
I have one. What
Okay.
is one thing in this cavern that came into being when I came into being?
Ooh, and what is that?
That would be the brambles.
Makes sense.
They were created just for me. As I once lived and healed and then killed, it now heals and kills me and
Gross.
others.
All right. Anybody else?
Um, I remember that I was a storyteller for mostly children, but to make extra money on the side, I would occasionally do it for adults.
Uh huh.
So that's partially how I made my money.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Atlas, do you have any other questions?
Um, what? Well, okay. Well, here's just a thing that I remembered,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably could have remembered this when I saw it, but I didn't really click. I was saving that cornbread for later. Okay.
How did it get in the sarcophagus?
Well, like I was putting stuff in there,
Uh-huh.
and you know how like when you accidentally put the remote in the fridge or
Yeah, yeah.
something,
We've all done it.
you put yeah, you or you put your keys in the laundry room or just something stupid, something dumb. I put my cornbread in the sarcophagus like, "Oh, I'm going to come back for this later." And then it got closed. But then I try to keep a mental note like, "Okay, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. It's in there. Don't forget about the cornbread." And then I forgot about the cornbread. So, yeah, that's all.
You're
All right.
always forgetting things, Headless.
Lose your head if it wasn't attached. Oh.
Mm. A little bit of flame just kind of flickers.
Something you are protecting, the skeletons are protecting, is destroyed. What was it?
Something was.
um, it was. Oh, y'all gotta come up with something because I'm drawing a blank.
He sounded really confident up until then.
Yep.
It was two of the pillars in the room
Ah,
because big head. He kind of came down
smashed him.
kind of hard. Yeah.
All right. The magic animating one of the skeletons, but not its compulsion to service, is beginning to fade. Who is no longer animate?
Big head.
Big head.
Uh,
You are still compelled to serve, and you can still communicate. Close your eyes.
Headless is gonna run towards the scrolls as hold on. Just as you're saying this. Headless runs to the scrolls as he thinks that it's such a great time. This is the opportunity to put his scrolls in alphabetical order so we can find them. And that's where scene cuts.
He's like, oh, I've thought of a new Dewey Decimal System, and then it goes dark.
Meow.
Arise and protect the tomb, skeletal guardians.
Huh? What?
An epoch has passed. A wall comes down, blocking part of the tomb. Which part?
The part that housed horror and Big Head.
Y'all were in different parts.
Oh, well, then it closed off horror then.
Okay. Something from a skeleton's past has accidentally been revealed. What was it, and why was it hidden?
Um, Headless. He got greedy and he actually killed his two students.
Ooh, and how's this revealed?
It actually kind of starts off
We see their
as
bodies.
Ah,
in the sarcophagus underneath all the jewels and whatnot.
and magic.
Right.
And why did you hide it?
My plan was to kill them, keep the stuff, and get out. But I was trapped in this tomb and got stuck with the bodies. So I just kind of figured, let's put them at the bottom of the sarcophagus, throw everything on top, and we'll just call it a day.
Okay. Let's see. Gold and silver dull. Iron rusts. Color fades to a sepulchred gray. Some of your descendants have broken into the tomb. They follow an ancient treasure map penned by your own children. Describe how you see yourself in them.
They have big heads.
This is fair.
Um,
My descendants are actually more human than I.
How do you see yourself in them? What jumps out to you as them being one of your descendants?
Their noses are much longer than normal, just like mine was in life.
Slightly
Their
beak-like.
eyes hold hunger that the like that you've never seen.
And headless.
um, my descendants, it's actually just one guy leading about three more guys, and he's leading them in such a way that he's just so excited and stoked to have found this treasure, this tomb, that he's flipping through his notepad and he's writing notes furiously. And every now and then he makes a note and pulls it off, and it comes to life. And it sometimes it takes the shape of a small bird. and he's talking about the birds in this area, or he'll rip one off and sometimes it'll turn into a small orb of light and it helps him see. But
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to tell a story and talk about like how excited he is for this.
Who among you will be the first to strike them down? Can you even bear it?
No, absolutely
Horror.
not.
Horror would be the first.
Horror, you try to break out of the wall that has collapsed around you, and though you dig and scramble, you find no way out. Big Head, you're only able to watch helplessly as the tomb is plundered. And Headless, you absolutely cannot bring yourself to attack your own descendants. Do you just watch?
Actually, Headless gets quite excited that he sees such an opportunity with the person that reminds him of himself. And he jumps up and his feet just kind of like scrambling below him and he picks up a scroll and he opens it and he looks and he closes it so excitedly. And he shakes it at the man in front who's telling these stories, and he puts the scroll in his hands.
And what is the scroll?
It is a secret that hasn't been released for millennia. This has been passed down from generation to generation. Not something that most people would be willing to share, but he is willing to release this upon the world, and it is his grandma's secret recipe
For cornbread.
for amazing cornbread.
The man seems excited as he takes the scroll from you and begins to read it. He doesn't seem to understand the archaic letters, but as he begins to say something, the bones of each of you begin to crumble away as what you're protecting is no longer protected. And there is only darkness and silence. And that's it. That's the end of the game.
Finally, some rest.
That was super cool.
I loved it.
That was fun.
I really wanted to play this one.
Yeah, I liked this a lot, actually. This was really cool.
I wasn't sure if y'all would like it or not, so I'm really glad that y'all
This was
did.
fun.
Let me show you the edited tomb, because I have been working on it. And what parts did y'all like the most, and what parts do you think could have been done better? And don't say the map drawing, because I know.
No, that is so cool. I love
The
it.
map
It
is
tells a
awesome.
story. It tells a story. I love it.
The little green spot next to the sarcophagus is the cornbread.
The spider webs just kind of hanging out. You know, they're still there, but no spiders.
All the scrolls are moldy. The necrotic brambles. Headless just trapped in his one little spot.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh, guys, that was great.
I'm glad y'all enjoyed
That was
it.
fun.
I think what was the most fun to me was slowly realizing that you could just say something and it was true.
Exactly. Save, 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 save.
I mean, I had a hard time like wanting to ask versus just saying this is what
That
headless
this,
does and this is what it is.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm with you, man.
Like it's a total game changer because I was like, can I do that? You know what? No, I do this, and this is what this is.
Exactly.
That brought so much joy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Once I realized, like Jay said, that it was like just versus like these are the rules. A matter of like, okay, well, what do I want to happen then?
Right, right.
So this was fun. And then like being able to use things that you've created in there for whatever you wanted. Like I just thought they were dirty old scrolls, but then Jeremy turned them into magical scrolls that he could use to help us in the fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
and I used the description of how what I look like as items that we could use in the future. Like it says that I was built not with just a normal body, but with jewels and jewelry and bones.
Interesting.
So I was using the gems as different items.
Yeah, I like how they use the gems and the torque or the amulet and stuff in y'all's game.
The bramble. The
The
bramble was
bramble.
great.
Yeah, you did a great job with the bramble.
Oh, I loved that. That was
I liked gigantifying Big Head's big head.
That was so great. I was so glad I could get that spell off.
yeah, that was so fun.
Well, I'm glad y'all had fun. There are a couple other variations that maybe we'll play again another time.
That sounds like a good
Ah.
idea.
Oh man.
Well, all right, guys, y'all are great. This was great.
Thank y'all so much for playing with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Y'all have a great
Definitely.
day.
You too.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Catch you later.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.